Welcome back, everyone. It's a doubleheader of Giga Bangers as we have Oxygen Esports facing off against Fnatic to kick things off. I'm Golden Boy, of course, joined by the one and only Tony. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing phenomenal. I feel like I haven't gotten a break just yet, but I got to spend a lot of time on the main desk, and now we're back here doing some casting. This is where I belong, in the action, in the games.
Hey, I couldn't agree more, man. You definitely belong here, and most importantly, we got great matches that are going to be coming up here because we have Oxygen Esports facing off against Fnatic. Two Cinderella stories happening here at the battle in Seattle, and it's going to start off with Recharge, Oddball, then Aquarius Slayer, Streets King of the Hill, and then if necessary, which I think it will be, Live Fire, Oddball, and then Recharge Slayer to end it all. So I would say a flanking Recharge here to start and end this best of 5. And let's be honest here, Tony, like this is going to be a slugfest because both of these squads very hungry, very ambitious, but only one of them can get top 6.
Both of these teams have pulled off 2 major upsets to get in this position. 2 teams that people expected to get knocked out in round number 1 to end the top 12, and now one of them is going to be moving into the top 6. One of these teams took out G1, the other took out G2, and now we're in a position where we're going into that top 8. Who's it going to be, Oxygen Esports or Fnatic?
And it really just goes to show you that at the World Championship, you simply cannot sleep on any squad here. Any fan watching at home right now who thinks to themselves, oh, this is going to be a, an easy series, this and that. No, not at World Championship. It just simply doesn't work like that. I was talking to the J-League guys earlier. Like, yeah, obviously they're down and out about their loss against United, but hey, they made top 12. They came out of play-ins, right? Look at Fnatic. They're one of the top teams. They were the first team to qualify out of play-ins, and now they're fighting for a top 6 opportunity here at the World Championship, the biggest event of the year, especially after the hurricane season that Fnatic has had. And honestly, the hurricane season that all 8 players that are on that stage have had. I did get word that we are going to be doing strongholds. Oh yeah, we have 2 oddballs. I just realized that. So I think we're going to have I don't know where the strongholds is. There it is. Thank you so much, Clayton. All right, so it is going to be strongholds to start things off first and foremost. But regardless of the fact, it doesn't really change all that much here, Tony. I think like both teams have, they know what's at stake here. Simple as that.
Yeah, and not only has Fnatic had an up and down season, but I think Oxygen Esports are right there as well. They started off with Swish, Name, and Common on the roster, and then every single event they took one player out, replaced it, trying to find that magic formula. And now we've gotten here where not a single player from the original roster remains. A whole new Oxygen Esports means a whole new line of expectations coming out of these boys. Oxygen Esports going up against Fnatic, Strongholds Recharge for our game number 1.
So many great games going on here in Seattle. We got Optic Sentinels on the main stage, and we thank you all so much for joining us here for Oxygen versus Fnatic. And we're going to kick things off with Nemesis POV, but already out of the gate, you're seeing just so much of a collision happening early on. These teams, of course, very evenly matched, so expect these clashes to happen throughout this entire series.
Both of these teams really wanted first hands on the camouflage, and although Fnatic were able to get away with it, ends up getting burnt real quick, and now we're seeing Suppressed and Fnatic prioritize the bases, going for the AC setup. Oxygen going in for the out-rotate, and Suppressed being as patient as possible.
Smart play. You were able to get A, wait for your teammate to go there to help you out. You also know that you have to worry about that shock rifle, though. Jazero's going to look to go onto the push here as Arctic, fending off a potential flank that's going to be coming around the gold pipes, does find the player, manages to get the kill. That was the shock rifle player that does go down. As of right now, it's going to be 2 members down for Oxygen Esports, but Fnatic are going to lose Jazero, being their second as well. But this is going to be Fnatic potentially going for the cap. But Arctic is actually going to think otherwise here, as he does manage to hear some activity happening at the top of gold. Turns out it's going to be 2 members of Oxygen waiting for him, and Collect now is going to be toward A, capping this for Oxygen.
Oxygen gaining that early momentum, already having the lead, moving in for the triple cap. We now see Fnatic start to desperate over towards that Bravo side, but it's just baits. Nade starting to fly. It's a war out there. Fnatic may have been able to steal it away, but they end up going 3 down, and Oxygen are already moving in for yet another trip cap.
Got to put my eyes on Jazero because He's at 0 kills in this early part of the game, but also 0 assists, which means he hasn't really been contributing to any of the kills his teammates have been getting. On the flip side to that, you look at Triton, who's sitting at 0 kills himself, but has the most assists for his team. In fact, the most assists in general, as Nemesis takes the face of Arctic there, takes another one as well, and Nemesis goes massive for that double kill, trying to line up the trip ski. He gets it. Maybe one more for the overkill. Does Jazero look defeated to him? He's getting the call. He gets the shot. He's trying to hit it, but it's not going to land in time. His teammate's there for the coverage, though.
We've seen this once before. I read this chapter, this book. Man dropped the running riot earlier this season with that shock rifle in this exact position, and Nemesis doing it once again. Triple kill into clearing out the gold side and now holding on to this glass anchor spot. Lines up a shot. Arctic, watch your face. He's coming.
Nemesis definitely living up to that name. Arctic trying to play the corner there. Killing Frenzy for Nemesis, excuse me, who's going off. Finally, his reign of terror is going to come to the end there, courtesy of one of the members of Fnatic. As we are on board with Boehm, and it is going to be Fnatic looking to capture and get control of that A stronghold. Boehm does know that there's going to be that activity. The repulsor there, but the help from downtown, and that is really going to be the difference maker here for Triton and the rest of the team in Oxygen Esports. How much help can they provide each other in those opportune situations? And so far, so good for the team in green and black.
Man making his way downtown, but he's a country boy. New waters here for Bowman Oxygen Esports, but the double cap now once again grabbing a triple as A swap hands, and now you're seeing Fnatic spawning up over toward the Charlie side of the map. They're going to try to prioritize it, but Oxygen continue to get slay after slay. And look at this scoreboard, 140-2 run in favor of Oxygen. Fnatic have not found an answer just yet.
No, Fnatic are really struggling here. Oxygen just have their number every single time. You think that Fnatic are going to break out opportunity. Oxygen there is just there to stop him, and you really got to give credit to Boehm here. He's the type of player that can play at this level without a doubt, but you usually see Collect putting up numbers like this, Triton putting out numbers like this, so Boehm also contributing like this is scary for Fnatic to have to deal with, and they're running away with this lead, and finally we're going to start to see Fnatic accrue some points and maybe go into double digits. Look at that achievement unlocked.
But Nemesis, still going at him. A perfect kill followed by another one is 2 down. Go Fnatic, and now Oxygen quickly pushing over toward the Charlie side base. Nobody able to contest Nemesis for this. Bravo already in the hands of Oxygen. Charlie's gonna join them, suppress, trying to be a little sneaky snake. He's gonna get spotted and dealt with.
What I would really like to see here more of is Fnatic just try and focus on what those objectives are, right? If you have C, maybe not go for that full commit over toward the B side. Maybe try and play a little bit more of a cautious game here. You simply just cannot allow Oxygen Esports to get away with what they've been getting away with. Like, Arctic is here trying to make a play right now while the rest of his team are fighting elsewhere. That's going to be 3 players down for Fnatic, and you see a lot of players doing a lot of individual things. And, you know, someone on the team is going to have to step up and say, guys, we have to start playing together. Otherwise, this match is going to be over before you know it.
They're just not on the same page. Damn it, they're not in the same book right now. They're not in the same series. Fnatic need to figure something out. Oxygen Esports continue to pressure them, continue to push them as a team, and Fnatic are taking these individual gunfights that they're just not winning. Switching gears over towards Triton. Gonna try to man the long haul side. You're seeing them allowing Fnatic to spawn up towards C, but they end up breaking out towards A, so finally a double cap in favor of Fnatic. But what are they gonna do with it? Can they slay through it?
Every single time a member of Fnatic gets done with a fight, they're down to half shields, quarter shields, and then here comes a member of Oxygen for the cleanup. And honestly, the numbers that Triton is pulling up right now, I'm a fan of this. I know that a lot of people will look at the kill column and really only focus on that, but when you see someone that is contributing 16 kills in this game, while everyone else on his team is at 17, 14, 12, so on and so forth, he is putting so many shots forward and helping his teammate out of these critical situations. Nemesis with a big shot, gets the double kill there as well on the Septify. Looking for another, but instead it's going to be a nade that hones in right onto Nemesis' feet. That's going to remove him, but it is a triple cap for Oxygen, at least for the time being, and Arctic's going to try and stop the bleeding, but here comes Oxygen Esports looking to suffocate them.
This is Nemesis' favorite map. 19-7, the man always goes on a run as he puts his 20th on the board. Finally, they're able to take down Nemesis, but half of the members of Fnatic now onto the black screen in Auction, having an opportunity to push up once again. Luckily for Fnatic, they have a double cap. Bad part is they're 3 down, and Bohm has them in the reticle.
C is going to be obtained for Oxygen. Nemesis is going to be off yonder in an engagement with Zero, but here comes Bone for the help, right? So now Nemesis knows he's got the help. He can play a little bit more aggressively if he wants here. C is going to be given up. This could be an opportunity for Fnatic to strike, as they do manage to capture C just after Bone does the work there. That was going to be a long haul spawn for Fnatic that allowed them to encroach onto the C stronghold. What can Zero do with this shock rifle? He's going to start getting pressured. He's trying to play this one slowly, but there are going to be 2 members here. Does he have the help? Yes, he does. That is exactly what Fnatic need to do. Start playing together, start backing each other up and prioritizing each other's lives. That's how you win this. That's how you get into the top 6.
You said you wanted to see Fnatic play as a team, and so far we're seeing that in the latter half of this game, but the question is it too little and too late? 216 points have been accumulated by Oxygen, but another double cap coming in. Great out-rotate out of Fnatic, and Zero still has a chance with the shock rifle.
Who's got Zero's help here? Where are the calls? Because he's anticipating a glass push, but none of the members of Oxygen were located over there. In fact, it's only going to be 1 player. So was he getting that information, or was he just looking to pre-fire that potentially? Because he had no idea that that last player was going to be located over toward tower, and that's going to be given the shock rifle to Collect. But Collect's going to be very low as he looks to dip away from this fight here, and Arctic with the cleanup. So now it's a big fight going on with Septify. Does he win that battle? He's successful in his venture, but he is going to get, I believe, C reset there, and he has to worry now about Triton on the push-up, who also, I believe, has that shock rifle. I just saw a shot go across goal.
At one point, this game was a 150-8 run in favor of Oxygen Esports, and look at how Fnatic have been able to claw their way back into the game. Septify now going to push over to the control side, finds the backside at one point. You never give up your back, not in MMA and not in Halo, because Septify is going to peel you from across the map, and now they're starting to push up. We're now seeing Fnatic once again drive Oxygen Esports off of the map of Recharge. They're controlling the pace, and they're looking good while doing it.
So here's the thing that you had mentioned before, Tony. You were like, what, like, has the lead grown too much for Fnatic to come back? But that's the beauty of Strongholds, is that even though Oxygen have C control, they're not earning any points here. This is going to be all Fnatic gains for the time being, and I love what I'm seeing here. It feels like Fnatic realized midway through, I wanted someone to step up, I wanted them to start playing together. That's exactly what we're getting, and I'm glad that they did, because they know that they belong in this competition. But the problem is that Triton's looking to take some faces. Thankfully for him, he doesn't have to worry about anyone looking to challenge him over toward A. He's got the help, and this is going to be Oxygen capping, but Tony, they need Fnatic to flip something ASAP.
Finally, Oxygen have been able to weather the storm right now. All of Fnatic now spawning over toward the gold side of the map. Triton lining up the shock rifle, can't connect on the first one. The second one will shred one. Has 2 more in his sight. The BR gonna come out quick, has the repulsor to get rid of that damage, and now chasing down that player. 3 down, go Fnatic. Oxygen finally back in the driver's seat.
You only have a few seconds left in this game. Now, no points are going to be gained, but a trip cap is going to be in effect here. So you have to get on the objective ASAP. But is anyone else going to be able to find any other position on the map? B is going to get captured. Bohm does manage to get that camo. Does he put it to good use, though? It's only going to be 4 points remaining. So at this time, Fnatic cannot give anything up. No dumb deaths, but they are going to end up losing a player in Suppress, which is super unfortunate for them, but better for Oxygen because they're flipping these objectives. They simply just need to hold 2, a few more points remaining, and that is going to do it. Oxygen walk away with a 1-0 lead here on Stronghold's Recharge. But let's keep in mind, Fnatic nearly brought that one back, but the credit's got to go to Oxygen because they brought it to Fnatic from start to finish.
The problem is that Fnatic dug themselves so deep of a hole.
Totally right.
Just all the way in there to the point where, you know, hey, you might be a great climber, but eventually you're 6 foot, 10 foot, 50 feet. Stop digging, Fnatic. You gotta get yourself back in. Eventually the hole too deep for them to climb out of, and Oxygen Esports eventually were able to weather the storm, gain back control, and it was only a matter of time before they stole that win away.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, you know, look, it's Oxygen had the control start to finish, one of the things that they were doing was they were all shooting for each other very effectively, right? We were seeing a lot of space being created by Boehm. Every single time there was a fight going on, Boehm was there to be involved in it. And then let's not forget about Triton, was contributing so much in the early game, so many shots being put forward that there's no real way for you, if you are Fnatic, to like fight that back, because you're going into every fight with half shields, 75% shields, less than healthy, especially when, you know, everyone on Oxygen were fragging out at that moment. But we are going to be moving on to Slayer on Aquarius here. Opportunity, though, for Fnatic to bounce back.
Yeah, I have some great news for Fnatic. There's no shock rifle on this map. So that means Nemesis is not going to drop 27 on your head. You should be okay. Isn't that how it works? Nemesis needs the shock rifle in order to drop a killing frenzy like he did in that game number 1. We're going to find out if Oxygen can keep that same energy going into game number 2. We know about the camouflage. We know about those 2 thrusts, but also do not undervalue those dynamo grenades. They are so powerful here in Halo Infinite.
Yeah, it's basically like a power weapon, so players are going to look to control that. They're also going to look to control the thrusters. Love Aquarius because it's a different type of map. The speed kind of changes up a little bit because of those thrusters. You're able to take fights and dip out at a moment's notice because you have that bailout mechanic with thrusters. So look at those players to continue to cycle that ability, but also let's not forget about the camouflage. Top mid, eyes on the prize at the beginning of the game. You're going to get this opening break here, and let's see what we end up getting treated to. No one's been able to get taken out yet, but now it's time for map number 2. And Nemesis up on high has the angle on suppress to start things off, but it is going to be Fnatic with this 2-kill lead and an answer back from Oxygen.
Oxygen immediately going 3 down. Nemesis, the only player alive here for Oxygen Esports. That should mean Fnatic should have been able to get away with that camouflage. See the paints come in. Nemesis wants to get aggressive, able to take down Zero before going down himself. Let's see what Bone's up to.
Well, I'm dealing with some activity bottom mid. He's getting the calls as to where the location of these blue players are going to be. That's a clean kill there for him, uncontested. But what in? He came out of nowhere. Hey, I genuinely had no idea where the hell that guy was. But stranger things have certainly happened, and that kill is pretty big because it's actually going to keep Fnatic competitive here at the early goings of this game. Try and misses the jump, so that's a reposition himself with this commando, but it is going to be a fast-firing gun, so if anyone tries to challenge him in these close-range situations, he'll have the sauce for him here. But there goes that thruster as well as the dynamo, and that's what I was talking about with the commando. Fast-firing shot, and at this level of play with these players, they put that weapon to use every time.
Not just about the sauce, but also about that seasoning as well. You also got to know how to cook your meat, but eventually Triton gonna get burnt. Boehm luckily able to pick up the pieces, but eventually Oxygen Esports do end up falling 3 down. That's going to give a lot of map control over to Fnatic.
Yeah, well, they do have a 2-kill lead. Let's jump into this Astro Listening with Oxygen to hear how they're going to continue to add on to this one.
Arjun now.
James, go ahead, James, go ahead, James.
Hands, they're already there.
Okay, I'm coming.
Car 1 with you.
Oh, yeah, look ready, look back.
I'm looking car 3. Here.
He's not engine.
He was. Alright, car 3. Car 3. 2 of them. 2.
What's that? On ace. 2 on ace. 2 on ace.
That's 1. Live.
One shot on ace.
Okay, I'm one shot. I'm living.
One shot 2.
Camel's up.
He pushed Nick out. He's yellow bitch.
Nice. Absolute. I couldn't shoot.
I'm in with camo. What's up with camo? What's up with 2? What's car 3 with camo?
3 dead.
Car 2 going car 3. Car 3.
Reset. Take a deep breath.
Ain't car 2 on nades. Tell me with
camo. Camo's top mid.
What's on nades? He might push you.
Our car 3
I
weak.
can't get out.
Another
Camo's car. Yellow Peter. I mean blue Peter.
Live.
My bad. No, he's blue.
Car 3. They're both 1. 3 dead. Alright,
I'll spawn, make a quick decision.
No, listen, if we have a fucking gap, take it, alright? Stop playing fucking passive when we have gaps.
I don't see anyone top
They have
play.
camo. They still have camo. They have camo. I'm going yellow.
Get out.
One's car 3.
There was the listening with Oxygen Esports, and while that listening was going on, Fnatic has managed to take the lead and then some. They're going to be up by 5 currently, Tony, and this is actually a great spot for Fnatic to be in. But if there's a team that can bounce back from this one, it's certainly going to be Oxygen. They just kind of have to do the same thing that we saw in that last game, but the opposite for Fnatic. They just got to start playing together, stop taking these individual fights. But Fnatic are doing a brilliant job at just shooting for one another.
In game number 1, we saw how good Oxygen Esports were at holding on to a lead. We saw Fnatic the ones to stay resilient and be able to eat away at it. Now it's the tables have been turned. Now it's Oxygen Esports that have to play catch up. Now it's up to them to start to value their life and really get that teamwork back. They're starting to fly. Perceptify goes in for a challenge, can't quite take on the teamwork of Auction. That's what you want to see, but numbers still starting to go back in favor of Fnatic. They really know how to stay alive.
This lead has only continued to get worse for Oxygen. So much work is going to have to be done. 8 kills is the difference, but we have seen this lead shrink in the past. Think back to all the other games that we've had for the first 3 days from the play-in and yesterday as well as today. It's not impossible. You just have to play some solid Halo. And Collect's on the hunt. He's got that heat wave. He's trying to put it to good use. Camo's going to be available to him, and he should be able to get this relatively unscathed. I thought so, but there were eyes on it right away. So they thought that they had the clear path to the camouflage. That turned out not to be the case, which is very unfortunate for Oxygen and Collect there, because I thought that he was going to be able to get away with that scot-free.
33-24 lead in favor of Fnatic, and let's not forget why we're here. The winner of this is going to move into top 6. 1 round away from playing into that top 4 scenario, and the loser of this sadly going to be going home. Lots of implications on the line. Fnatic going up against Auction Esports, and Fnatic desperately trying to tie up the series. Septify desperately trying to hold on to the P-side control, or maybe a little bit of retreat, a little bit of regain is needed here for Fnatic.
It's a solid lead that has been built up for Fnatic right now, and I like that they just decide to rotate all around. They knew that there was a call that a few of the members of Oxygen were going to be located over toward the Dynamo side of the map, so they had moved the bodies over there, not allowing them to be able to get control here of the yellow utility. Can he get the kill? Septify, what a play from him as he takes out Try and goes in for the double kill against Nemesis, excuse me. And now Boehm has to retreat down low as he was getting shot from a bunch of different directions. And Tony, it's very apparent here that the map control for Fnatic, the movement that they're making, they're not giving Oxygen a moment to think.
Three getting eliminated for Auction Esports. Collect slows the game down, takes down one, almost gets the ninja for the second. A double kill out of nowhere for Oxygen. That'll slow down the momentum for Fnatic, but only 10 kills away from taking this game number 1 and tying up the series. Do Oxygen have it in them to come back?
You can trade kill for kill here if you're Fnatic, and you end up getting this win. Now, I like that Collect is waiting for the Dynamo, because a lot of members of Fnatic are going to be grouped up, and those Dynamo grenades, the sizzle sticks, are so effective at clearing space, but a brilliant shot there by trying to keep this one going. And there it is. So Collect manages to pick up at least one of the Dynamo nades, but he doesn't really get to use it to his fullest advantage. But perhaps that was the catalyst that allowed him to be able to get this camouflage. The thing is, Fnatic read that, and that is going to put them 6 kills away from winning game 2.
Read him like a book. Nemesis not able to get away with that camouflage, and that might spell it for Oxygen Esports here in game number 2. Fnatic just one squad wipe away from tying up the series. The long-range shot starting to connect for Suppress, doing that initial damage, allowing for the rest of the team to start to push up off the screen. Septify trades out. Jazero gonna pick up on that damage.
And that was such a clever play. That was such a great play there. And Fnatic tie the game up 1-1. But I gotta give love to what happened there, because he was taking the fight on the util side of the map. He saw that Jazero was coming along the flank there from the enemy base, so he decided to push, get the Dynamo nade, send that forward. That was going to cause enough disruption there that player had to back up, and then Jazero was able to pick up the kills. You had a lot of activity happening over in their court too. So I think all of that kind of combined goes to show that Fnatic have a lot of layers to them, and it's very clear that this team is not out of this one. Yes, that game 1 was bumpy, but that was a great response from Fnatic.
And that's a perfect example of why a lot of people don't understand how Suppressed is usually the main damage dealer of the group, but he doesn't always have the most kills. His damage is to open up the map, to really highlight the aggression of his players. Like Septify wants to get in there, like Jazero wants to get up close and personal. So those long-range shots start to connect, does that damage, and the rest of his team come in, collapse, and take him down.
Great game that we saw from Fnatic, and it leans right into what you were saying, right, Tony? Suppressed with 3,800 damage. I mean, this guy was just, if there was a target, he was shooting it. You know, if there was a target, he was shooting it, plain and simple. And also, you brought up another great point at the start of this game. You had mentioned about the shock rifle and how good Nemesis is. Look at Nemesis' damage dealt, 2,600. I'm not trying to say he's like a one-trick pony. Not the case at all. He's clearly here at the World Championship playing for, you know, the biggest trophy in our sport. But the thing is that when you have a player who's really effective with the weapon, but then you change over your game mode to one that has no power weapons, that's really where you start to see, right, BR to BR, how you square up, right? And it's very clear that Fnatic, they had those reads early on.
I can't believe Golden Boy just called Nemesis a one-trick pony here
Imagine.
in the Halo World Championship.
Imagine if I did that.
Nemesis, I'm your boy. I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, they deserve their spot here, and really excited to see what Oxygen Esports do, because, again, game number 1 was objective where they really thrived. Obviously, Fnatic, a great Slayer team, but what's game number 3? Another objective. A King of the Hill, which really lends to which team is more disciplined.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I like this for Fnatic because King of the Hill, you can set up shop, right? It's not like Strongholds where you have to reposition constantly. You know, it kind of leads into something like Oddball as well, where it's like, you know, you're setting up, you're holding an objective, and then you're going to get your shots in, right? And I like Fnatic's chances here. The thing is that what makes me very excited about how Oxygen could potentially play this, though, is that on the objective, they're so good at reading where those movements are going to come from, right? That is one of the reasons why they shut down Fnatic on Strongholds so hard, because every time Fnatic thought that they had an open opportunity, Oxygen were there to stop them. There was 2 players there working in tandem to shut down a player. A lot of players in Fnatic were making individual plays. This time around, Fnatic maybe have a little bit of a saving grace here. You got to set up on Strongholds. You got to kind of like make your perimeter. Maybe Fnatic will be good at that.
And we just got some intel on why Fnatic are also going to be looking good at game number 3. We just saw 2 Fnatic players coming out of the restroom, so now they're refreshed. You know,
right.
they're relieved. They're going to come
in the tank,
ready to go. I mean, they must have been frustrated at game number 2.
Okay.
Now going to game number 3, they're feeling good. That's intel, right? I call it intel.
That is. You know, listen, I tend to play my best Halo when I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
So I'm going to go the opposite way. Oh. I'm going to say, I don't know. You know,
sense of urgency.
Sense of urgency. You know what I mean? I want to finish this series as soon as possible. And you think I'm kidding? Big Team Battle Bonanza, the whole time I had to use the bathroom. And don't worry, guys. Number 1, filthy animals. And I needed to go to the bathroom so bad, and then I ended up getting 5 kills in a row with a hammer. So all I'm saying is, there's a correlation. Maybe not. Probably not. But that's what I would like to think.
So GB has Oxygen taking this in a 3-1 fashion.
Calling it now.
King of the Hill Streets, all about those power weapons.
I'm kidding.
It's really King of the Power Weapons, really what it is. You know, you got the rockets,
yeah.
You have the Bulldog, even the Stalker rifle, which in the right hands, not mine, but in the right hands can be an absolute nuisance.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Streets King of the Hill.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's not forget, right, that there are power weapons on the map, right? Weapons like the rockets that are very useful for you to be able to pick up, but there are also going to be other toys at your disposal. You can get the Stalker rifle, which, if you're accurate, if you're a player like Stellar, for example, who likes to pick up that Stalker and put it to good use, you can really shred the shields of your opponent. But let's not also forget about the Dynamo, sorry, not the Dynamo, the Bulldog. I wish Dynamos were here, it'd be hilarious. The Bulldog that is located over toward Neon Street. That is another critical weapon to pick up, especially if you get that Bulldog, bring it over to the opposite side of the map, yes. Play those close quarters in arcade, especially for that hill when you have tires, you have arcade, you have a lot of nooks and crannies you could work around. You want to see players really take advantage of that, and the players that succeed in Halo are the ones that don't just prioritize the power weapons, but prioritize the sandbox.
So when you said a player like Stellar with a Stalker rifle, a steady shot, is going to be able to really get value out of it. A player I think about that on this map is going to be Suppressed.
Yes.
Suppressed is an absolute nuisance. A very steady shot, almost a formal S shot.
Yeah. Always
centered, making sure you're always ready for combat. I think that he's going to be the one to be able to get so much value out of that Stalker rifle, at least on the side of Fnatic. On Oxygen, give me Triton. Again,
I was going to say that. Give me Triton.
Very steady,
yep.
Very centered, always
very clean
ready for
shot.
action. Yes.
Very clean shot. And what's great about a player like Triton is he's always willing to contribute whenever the moment calls for it. So if you put a weapon like the Stalker in his hands, Oh boy, he can cause some problems. But we're all knotted up in this series 1-1. This one most definitely will go the distance with these two teams, fighting for their World Championship life on the line, fighting for a top 6 placement. King of the Hill on Streets is where we find ourselves as the players are all loaded up and ready to go. And it's time to jump into this action, Tony. And we're kicking things off with Nemesis.
It is a mathematical fact that 87.97% of the time, the team that wins a game number 3 when the series is tied ends up winning the series. Swing game number 3 on our way. Both teams 3 down, but Nemesis able to get with the Rockets.
Triple kill. Triple kill for the Nemesis. Love to see the opening gambit there go in the favor of Oxygen Esports. They needed something like that to kind of get things going, to kind of rattle Fnatic and let them know, even though you picked up the win in game 2, this series is far from over.
They let him know who bigger brother is. Oxygen Esports making a statement once again, Nemesis. Now with that Bulldog in hands, Fnatic having the early setup over toward the B side of the map, but they're going to have to fight to hold it. Nemesis getting into that close range. You talked about the shotgun. When the Hill moves to the arcade side, gets one, can't take down another. Nemesis goes down, and so does the Bulldog.
That's why you want to take this weapon over here to this side of the map. It's very vital to be able to use here. Because now it's going to be Oxygen needing to respond. One player is going to be over by the steps. Nemesis trying to challenge over toward the ramp. That was a beautiful angle, by the way. Thank you so much, observers, for that. I always appreciate when I see some cinematic camera movement.
We're in the action. That's why you're hearing that arcade music right now. You can hear it. It's getting intense over here. Septify trying to stay alive over toward the arcade side, slipping on these hardwood floors as if he's in socks. Finally ends up going down. So the 3 members of Fnatic. Oxygen has to deal with one more player. Not for long. That Bulldog is barking. Says Collect.
Off the spawn, it's going to be Fnatic on the PD side, looking to challenge this. Rocket's coming up in a few seconds here, so they're probably going to try and prioritize this, because even if Oxygen hold the hill a little bit longer, it won't really matter because they're not that close to completing the objective like Fnatic are. So they want to play for these Rockets that they can get him, and it seems like Jazero is going to be able to obtain that, while next player from Oxygen is going to be tucked away in the back of the base. It's Collect, which allows Fnatic the opportunity to go in for the push. Smart play! He didn't see him! He's over by the dumpster! Jazero, and I don't know who that is. They turned around at the wrong time. Oh my God, if Jazero dies here, that'll be a heartbreaker. He's actually above him. Oh, and look, I honestly think like that puts so much attention for Jazero that he was not able to find that player. He knew someone was there, and that opens up the opportunity for Oxygen to add a little bit more to the time. The problem is that while all that was going down, Fnatic managed to capture that first point, and now they're looking to work on this tramp.
A combination of the timing and not having a wide enough FOV, not able to spot that player with the Rockets, and eventually he does end up going down. And now will that cost them? For every mistake you make, Oxygen looks to take advantage of. Arctic gets shredded by the Sentinel beam. Now we're seeing Oxygen not only control this tram side, but even starting to push up. Well, how does Septify get behind them so easy? Hold on. Oxygen had control of tram, but Septify with the flank does a bit of damage.
Good read here from Nemesis. He's also got the help from Bohm over at the steps. You can see the calls coming in from Triton. And just those pings, right? How much value that provides for his team. Poor Jazero knew that he was basically left between a rock and a hard place. And Oxygen now more than halfway past earning their first point here on King of the Hill Streets.
You see Nemesis spot out the spawners coming from the PD side. It's going to be Fnatic having to spawn all the way across the map, having to make a long rotation and not much time to work with. I don't know if they're going to go for a final push. They might punt this subway side of the map.
No, they're going. They might actually go for this.
Okay.
They have one control here. The problem is that is anyone there to help out Suppress? He's already going to get tagged from behind, and it feels like Suppress isn't getting information that is helping him out. Doesn't feel like he's hearing like, oh hey, there's one person in Ivy, and he looks over toward Ivy, but no one's over there. So maybe he's getting some wrong calls, or it's just a moment really getting to him. But this is a big opportunity for Fnatic, and they're still going to fight for this tram. They're not out of this yet.
One more round of slays, and Oxygen should be able to take away this hill. The question is, can they go after the perimeter players of Fnatic who are now locking down every angle of the map? A member of Oxygen makes it toward the top C side, but gets dealt with immediately despite grenades. Not enough to take down one, gonna try to break down the front door. But Fnatic still, excellent set of catching up towards this hill. We're about dead even.
Love to have seen that Stalker do a little bit more there. But the last player here to hold it down, it's going to be Jazero. And this could be dangerous, and it seems as if Fnatic have lost control of the tram. Maybe one player is going to go for it, but it might actually be Oxygen capturing this one. Let's actually jump in to a Fnatic listening to hear how they're going to try and hold this one.
That's a pick. Another one here.
He says, watch out.
Nice.
Drive by, watch drive by. I'm
moving.
Hey, I'm coming. No.
Nice.
They're dead. One alive.
They're gonna be running.
Yeah, front of it, 100%.
One more B.
I have purple.
Did you go driver?
Yeah, Jay, hits your cuss.
Yeah, drop it, guys, drop it.
Drop it. Watch out, C. Watch out, C. Nice. They're gonna be Ivy.
Two of them.
Nice, bro.
Yeah.
One more, desperately. Live Jay on one shot.
Nice!
Watch out, watch out, C.
Oh, I died.
No, you have to reload. Watch out, C.
This is good.
Watch out, C. Listen, Rocky's coming up in 20.
Live here, guys.
Good.
We still back seat. They don't even.
We hide.
Okay.
Yeah, challenge back.
I like that. Play together. I love that.
Together.
Okay, I have a pitch. Buy me time.
Hey, we spot you. Give us time,
please.
You guys gotta go. Yeah. They're so weak. I died. We're going through mid.
I got spikes back there.
We're going.
Shot back, eh?
He's
One shot back here. Yep.
Gotcha.
Some pretty decent comms there from Fnatic, but I'll have to be honest with you. It sounds a little hectic, Tony, and that's what's concerning me a bit. Fnatic need to just calm things down, just let the action unfold, but most importantly, feed the appropriate information when it's necessary. It feels like everyone is trying to, have a place in the conversation, and maybe one or two players are calling things out that not quite going to be the location of where their opponents are and could actually turn the ridicule of their teammates the wrong way.
I don't know what you're talking about. What was not calm about somebody yelling, nice? I thought I was calm, cool, collected.
Hey, you know what, though?
Good info.
It worked out. They ended up getting the point anyway. I'm more just trying to really look at what can happen here critically that could potentially impact Fnatic, but you're 100% right, and I like to hear that passion because that tells me that Fnatic, they are hungry, and I expect nothing less here in Seattle.
Nemesis will end up going down. Second one gonna join him, so a 2v2 scenario. This next play gonna be so important. It looks like it's gonna go in favor of Oxygen Esports, finding the numbers that they're looking for, but they are both fighting for any resemblance of control onto the A side of the map. Oxygen Esports do have two members over toward the back A side, Jazero just raining down nades into the PD. So far, nobody able to get the exact amount of slaves they're looking for just yet.
And I have to say, that was a great play there, right? To grab the plasmas, force the player off the objective, allow your teammates time to come off spawn, and also use your frags to prevent that player from PD to push and take control of Garden. So if anything, that was just a really smart, well-read play. And that is going to allow Fnatic to be able to get back into the objective and start to add on to their total here, as Jazero's going to be playing anchor duty in the backfield. We'll see what he can do with his BR as his teammate is going to die. Oh, not actually, I stand corrected. Collect ends up getting popped off there. And this could be a moment for Fnatic to just come back and dominate this one 3-0.
Fnatic were able to break the setup of Oxygen Esports, but now they find themselves 2-1 to the kill feed once again. We're still on board with Jazero, and he has the help he's looking for, but it seems like 4 members of Oxygen want to get aggressive, especially since Nemesis was able to get away with the rockets. This can be huge for Oxygen Esports. One clean slay, and they can get their first hill on the board.
Yeah, but Fnatic need to stay alive here. One rocket's used, that player's gonna get tagged, but not bagged. And there it is, Nemesis dies, but the Suppress get the kill. He actually ends up falling courtesy of Triton, as Oxygen now trying to close this one off. Nemesis gets the kill onto Jazero in the backfield PD, and I think we could be seeing Oxygen add one to the column for the first time.
And I just noticed Fnatic actually had Oxygen Esports 4 down, but they weren't getting any hill time whatsoever. I actually took a look at the timer, 52 seconds, so Fnatic were playing a bit of that shot clock, but now with Oxygen in their first hill, every time a man is in the hill, it stops the clock. Will Fnatic continue the strategy as well, or will they finally start to play for the time here? First step, get the slays.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you got these guys who are going to be so weak, and it seems as if one player does manage to get onto the point, but you don't have to necessarily do that. Problem is that you have Oxygen that are about just under halfway from capturing this point. So it's really a lot of work that you got to put out there to prevent this team from getting on it, but they are not jumping on. They have no reason to. Stay alive.
Playing the timer right now. Pay attention to the bottom middle of your screen. 35 seconds. And as long as nobody steps foot in the hill on either team, that clock will continue to wind down. But it's Oxygen Esports that slide their way in. Multiple members of Fnatic trying to find the entry point. Set to 5 wants to find his first kill with the Bulldog. Able to get it. Oxygen end up going 3 down. So that's going to be 8 seconds on respawn for 3 members of Oxygen.
They get out.
That's going to eat away some time. Only 1 or 2 more pushes left. Do Oxygen Esports have it in though?
You're playing with fire here if you're Fnatic. I mean, don't get me wrong. I totally understand why you would do this because there's 20 seconds left and you have great positioning. But it's only going to be a 1-point game that separates the 2 of you guys. On the 15 seconds remaining, Suppress is going to be on the flank, but the rocket's going to stop him. And it was a rocket in the pocket that ends up helping out Oxygen. Arctic's going to have to back away, but he's staying away from the objective. Teammates from Oxygen are going to be able to get in there. Arctic's looking to play around it, but this is it. If you do not stop this, it's a tied game right now, and Fnatic have to be nervous.
And it looks like we're going to be going in to the hardest hill to capture in Halo Infinite, the middle hill here on Streets. If you want to fight, this is where you're going to get it.
Oh boy, this is not pretty. Next point wins. We're in OT. 2 players down for Fnatic. As Suppress is going to be lingering about here on the B side of the map. Great help Arctic is going to give to Suppress here, and Suppress is going to give that one in turn to his teammate Arctic. Fnatic managed to get back on the point here, but a little bit of progress is going to be gained by Fnatic, but not all that much to take the lead away from Oxygen Esports.
Fnatic able to get the numbers that they're looking for, having to stack members onto this middle hill as Oxygen are always having sights on this hill every time they spawn. Nemesis from the A side of the map putting down damage with that commando, now getting towards the purple street. Shot started to ring out, but the drop ball gonna be too much. Excellent play by Jazero. Bohm says, I don't want any part of that. Give me an assault rifle, 36 bullets of pure skill gap being used immediately to the double. Boom, puts Fnatic 4 down, and now Oxygen Esports have opportunity to go for the zone.
Yeah, but no one's around there right now, so they do get it off the respawn. But that's not going to be a lot of progress gained if Fnatic jump on this hill right away. Triton can't get involved in the fight. That's going to be 2 down now for Oxygen. And Triton's actually going to be getting chased here. So it further cements the fact that Triton cannot get involved in this fight and pushes him away from the battle at hand. And Suppress has this great overlook position. They know exactly where he is. And with this Stalker, it could be problematic, though. That's why they're putting the pressure on him here. Very smart play from Nemesis to force Suppress off of this position.
This C side of the map so important. Fnatic know what's on the line, but they just go 3 down. So now the only player alive is the player with that C-side presence, and Oxygen Esports are already peppering him left and right. And I think Suppress now going to be salty after that one. Oxygen fighting for that mid-hill, nobody in it just yet. Another round of slays is necessary for either one of these teams to gain control. We're about dead even.
Yeah, and Triton's got the overlook position here on the balcony, right in the nest. Arctic wants to force him out of it, but he's got so many angles to work with too. But that's also going to be even more angles that he can get shot from, which is the reason why he's going to be dropped back over here. Like that he takes out the assault rifle for the close range fight in case he needs it. Maybe he can catch someone off guard with a few bullets and a melee. 3 players down for Fnatic, 2 players down for Oxygen. Nemesis is going to get the better here of Jazero, and that's going to leave the middle hill wide open. You only have 30 seconds left to play here between these 2 teams. And right now the lead is going to be for Fnatic. A few more frags and maybe it can go their way.
And after 24 seconds, and we're already in sudden death overtime right now. It might be a chance that we end up tied up, despite the fact that both of these teams, need about 30% worth of progression to take this.
10 seconds left. You got to start making a play right now. What is going to be the read here as Jazeera's looking for the opportunity? And they're waiting for it. 1 second left, but they managed to get on it, and Oxygen's going to be on the point, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be a tied game, 2-2. We're running it back.
We should be going towards a reset here, and I got to check the ruling on this one. Is it first? I want to say it was first cap take all, but then it just changed the ruling, so I believe it's first 2 caps take the win.
Oh,
but,
is it now?
I'm gonna wait for the admins to confirm that. Either way, this is an amazing swing game number 3. Series is tied up at 1 apiece. either one of these teams get the win, and now you see them back in the drivers. You see those strengths start to change over.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I was joking around a little bit with that percentage number, but I will say, well, usually the team that takes that game number 3 off of a tied-up series usually ends up winning it.
Yeah, and we did get word it is a replay. First to 2 is going to walk away with the win. So, Tony, you were right again. So we're going to reset this thing, get back into the action. But, man, this is exactly what you want to see. 2 teams that are so hungry and reading each other so effectively here. That was a rough game, you know, start to finish for both squads. Neither one felt comfortable, but I have to say, for Fnatic, while I do totally understand why they played the clock the way that they did, it was always going to be risky given how much progress Fnatic had made. You essentially have to just slay them over and over and over again. And yes, you have the deliciousness that is the hill to use as bait for Oxygen Esports. But man, if you give Oxygen that space to work with, they will take that space and they'll use it against you.
Yeah, I think the reason why you would want to play the shot clock when that hill goes towards the middle, it's no matter where you spawn, you have sight lines towards that bottom mid.
Yeah.
But when that hill was over toward the PD side, if you die, you spawn on the opposite side of the hill. That's a long rotation to try to make, and eventually did not pay off for Fnatic. We saw the strategy. It could have worked, but sadly it didn't. We're going to see what happens here. Fnatic Oxygen playing first 2 caps, going to take the win. So now these caps are going to be even more important. You can't punt. You're going to have to go right in for it.
And you already have this first hill being tightly contested here, but Oxygen will manage to win this one outright. The Bulldog should be able to handle this player, and it does so relatively effectively. Nemesis has the teammate behind him, so he'll gladly push up here to have to deal with this. But wait a minute, I thought he was going to have a teammate there to back him up, but in fact, it was actually going to be Boehm over into PD, so no one was there to actually capture that hill and allow him to continue to slay. He went really just to go and take a look and see how the other side of the map looked for, you know, a moment's notice. But as it stands right now, Collect with this Stalker rifle right in the nest, putting in shots, but no one from Fnatic has been able to get into that. Now they finally managed to do so. We've
barely seen any time on the board so far. They already have Oxygen Esports about, what, 60, 65% done with that hill number 1. We're only playing a 2 right now, so every single second matters. Fnatic, you got to start off a bit better than that.
Yeah, you definitely need to come out of this one swinging. Boehm now waiting off, and he, unfortunately for him, will not be able to stay alive in the arcade as Collect's going to wait around with the Sentinel Beam. He's getting pressured on here. It's going to force the 0 off of that position, and this is just Oxygen just dominating this particular hill. Now, we know all you guys watching at home have multiple streams open, so you probably know the news already, but Optic Gaming managed to win 3-0. But here we are witnessing a tightly contested battle in this elimination bracket as Fnatic are going to start to gain.
Optic going to that winners bracket finals. Now we're going to find out who might be joining them eventually toward the end game, because we're here in the elimination bracket and we've seen some incredible teams make some incredible runs. And maybe Oxygen and Fnatic can be one of those teams, but Fnatic end up going 3 down. Oxygen just 1 second away from taking this zone. Fnatic have one player in the tram side, but nobody else set up with him.
All they need is one more, and they have rockets. Well, they had rockets, but Collect is going to get blown up. But he takes out that player, and he's okay with that. What he's not okay with is that Suppress is going to be inside of Tram with a Bulldog. So if anyone tries to challenge this, and the issue is that Suppress, he really does need someone to get into that hill with him so that this way he could go out here and do his job, do the thing that he needs to do, which is put damage forward the best way he can with this Bulldog.
3 members of Oxygen Esports stuck over toward the A side. Fnatic not only sitting in Tram, but even having Suppressed as that main damage dealer all the way in the face of Oxygen Esports. He doesn't end up going down, but look at how much time he's able to delay. Look at that progression on the hill.
It's a great play. His teammates were spawning inside a Tram. He was simply just waiting for that to come out, and once it did, he was comfortably able to push. No one was the wiser as to where he was going to be located. Perhaps this Bulldog can come back to bark them in the butt, but I would think that Fnatic, with how much progress they've gained, if they get 1 clear on Oxygen, this will be a point for them.
Oxygen were able to eventually alleviate that pressure and able to take control of the subway side, but Fnatic are relentless. They're pushing up once again. Trying dares to come around that corner. Pushes him back with a shotgun. Both players down to one shot, but the bait
Good
switch
help.
comes in from both sides. Boom! With the big double kill. Fnatic find himself 3 members onto the kill feed. Setup locked in for Oxygen.
Yeah, that was Boom with the boom there, helping him out big time because he had the Bulldog for the damage, and then after that he was able to clear it. But there's going to be no time to waste here for Fnatic. They need to get onto this hill right here, right now, and it seems like no one from Oxygen is going to give them the time to be able to do so. As the progress continues to tick forward, this could very well be Oxygen walking away with a victory here. Triton does get back into the objective. He only has a few more left here, a few seconds to hold, and that will do it. Oxygen Esports go up 2-1.
Fnatic weren't able to stop Oxygen Esports right there, and I will say I love the patience, love that coordination coming out of Fnatic, but they needed some desperation right there.
Yeah.
There was no sense of urgency. Oxygen Esports were just manhandled towards the first hill. That second hill was almost done. I need to see Fnatic, somebody that's desperate. Obviously, you might end up going down, but the time was just not on your side. You have to fly it. Hopefully, you win a crazy 1v1 or 1v2.
Well, what ended up happening there was that as soon as they got control, they were like, wait a minute, we got control of this. Let's go ahead and see what's going on in Ivy. And then, there was, I forget who the player was with the Bulldog, but you also had Bohm there as well to help out. So it was a massive double kill that helped them to be able to just further secure that, because then at that point, Triton could just get back up to the top, grab the Stalker, and then prevent them. And their last hope was to get those rockets. That was it. That was like Fnatic's last gasp in that match. But ultimately, it is going to be Oxygen who manage to breathe life into that game, and they have pushed themselves into a 2-1 lead, and they are one step closer to a top 6 placement here at Worlds and sending Fnatic home.
Oxygen Esports, they already pulled off a major upset against G2 not too long ago. I believe it was actually in a reverse sweep fashion. G2 were up 2 games, and Oxygen were able to take those final 3 in a row and able to come out with the win. Now, they're looking to make it even further. Fnatic, just a roadblock here. Oddball Live Fire going to be game number 4, possibly the last one in the series, and last time we see Fnatic, unless they're able to dig deep and come up with something.
They're going to need to, and I think they can. I really do think they can. I think that one of the problems in that Streets game was very clearly the control of the sandbox, which is something that I noted at the beginning of the game. I wanted to see Fnatic get control of that as much as they could, but the issue really ultimately came down to the fact that, like, Oxygen Esports, they timed it effectively, and they always put themselves in positions where they weren't just sending bodies to the problem to try and solve it. They actually were trying to play crosses, be effective with those shots, take the Stalker Rifle in different areas of the map, take the Bulldog to different areas of the map. There was just a lot of good work that was done there by Oxygen Esports. But Fnatic, not going to be out of this one yet, have the capability to be able to tie this live fire oddball game.
There may not be a shock rifle on this map for Nemesis to go wild with, but there is a sniper rifle. And let me tell you, if he's anywhere near as good with the S7 as he is with the shock rifle, Fnatic are in trouble. Potentially the final game here on Live Fire.
But hopefully not for Fnatic. They want to try and force this game 5. That's going to be what it takes here as we jump back into the action. And we're starting it off with Nemesis yet again. Sniper Rifle's going to be right for the picking, and Suppress is going to be the one to draw first blood as he takes out Triton. And that allows Fnatic to be able to grab that ball and bring it over to the tower side potentially if they're able to go clear away. But I think we ended up having a tech issue there, so no worries, no harm, no foul.
Facing elimination.
Yeah, competitive integrity obviously is so important here, so I want to make sure everybody is good to go. And
oh, I see what happened. I'm almost certain that it was like the points were 2. I think they had grabbed the ball, and I think they just held it for 2 seconds and they won. I don't know how that happened. I've never seen that before.
We're done. All right.
But
on to the next one.
Can you imagine an oddball game that goes that fast? That would be nuts. Just grab the ball once and you win the game. Like, that would just be one of the most wild games of Halo ever. Like, imagine if you had a game mode where like each one of your teammates had to grab the ball for like 5 seconds, right? And yeah, right. And then, but it always reset after you got a point. I don't know. That's the game mode. Maybe. Who knows? I'm crazy. But point is, though, we are going to reset the game. We think it was like a bug or something like that, something strange. But hey, like I said, no harm, no foul, all good. GG go next. We'll, or actually, not GG go next. We're just gonna GG go re.
They say GG no re, but I guess GG.
GG,
we
please
have
re. Yeah. We need a re here. Definitely need a re. But anyway, guys, if you're joining us here on the Bravo stream, we thank you guys so much for tuning in. A great matchup is underway here between Fnatic and Oxygen Esports. And then I believe coming up next, we have Cloud9 versus eUnited, which is going to be a banger match. That's why I said it's a double header of Giga Bangers. And me and Tony are going to be with you guys throughout the entire process. But you can see the series layout, and as it is right now, we're sitting at 2-1 in this series between Oxygen and Fnatic. And Fnatic looking to keep their hopes alive here in Seattle with a win on Live Fire Oddball.
So we have the two teams that upset G1 and G2 going at it right now.
Yep.
And then we have eUnited and Cloud9.
The teams who were upset.
Is this the Bravo stream or the best stream? I think the B stands for best right now.
That's right.
Because that is insane. I can't wait to get into it. Obviously, first up, we have to finish out with Oxygen Esports and Fnatic. Fnatic desperately trying to send us into a game number 5 with how many game 5s we've seen.
We've had a lot today.
If I was a betting man, I'd put all of it on game 5.
We've had a lot of game 5s, and on top of that, we've also had a lot of reverse sweeps. Today has been a stupendous day. Mwah, a chef's kiss of
Seattle,
Halo.
the city of upsets.
That's right. That's the city of upsets and smoke, because there's a lot of smoke outside, so it's all on our chest now. But hey, we're hanging in there, and we hope you guys are as well. Hope you got a couple beverages, maybe some trolleys standing by, and I know that may seem like a shameless plug, but trust me, I have been eating a lot of them, okay? Body built by gummy worms. And we, I think, might be ready to jump into this matchup. Teams should be loading in a moment here, but Tony, you know, for your first Worlds, I kind of want to get your, how's the experience been for you, man?
Oh, it's been terrible. I mean, I'm stuck next to you
What a shame.
almost the entire time. I had to break up a fight between you and Walshy.
You did.
No, it was pretty crazy. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to need a raise going into season 2.
He definitely needs a raise. I think everyone can agree on that one, Tony.
It's been incredible. I spent most of the time out in the analyst desk and got to talk about some of the best players in the world. I'm here in beautiful Seattle, and it's everything I've ever dreamed of, honestly.
And also looking dapper in the whole process, too. I feel like I missed out on the memo. You know, I came in, I was like, oh, yeah, this is my day 3 outfit, and everyone else is here with suit jackets. Kind of feel like a bit like a bum.
Nah, you look good. You look good.
Hey, but what's going to be good here is this game is the players are fist bumping and getting ready to jump into the action. Map is loading up, and yes, I actually agree with you in that earlier statement you made about Nemesis and seeing what he could do with the S7. I really just want to see what this opening strat is going to be, because that has actually been the fun part about this event, is seeing how these opening executes result in big gains early on. Like, you can tell players really put a lot of emphasis on ensuring that they start these games off strong and place nades in the right location.
If you start off running, it's going to be really hard to stop your momentum. So these starting strats going to be so important. We're getting into this game number 4. Fnatic. We need to see them get that sniper rifle. And when that overshield comes up, they need to get first hands on it. Otherwise, they might be going down and out of here.
Pressure's on for Fnatic. A team that's had a bit of a tumultuous season. This isn't even the roster that the team launched with. So that should tell you something about how much things have changed for this organization, but also how much things have changed for all of these players. I mean, all these guys were on different rosters, I believe, at the beginning of the season. So, you know, to just see kind of where we are right now just goes to show you how much in Halo Esports can change at the blink of an eye.
It's funny because we've been hearing about it on Twitter that at one point Collect was actually supposed to be loaned to Fnatic to actually compete over at Orlando, but they decided to go with Arctic, that suppressed duo, and because he's just been a little bit more experienced on land, and they found him having a better chance of winning. Wouldn't it be crazy if Oxygen Esports come in, steal Collect last minute, and then beat out the very team that almost adopted him?
But you know what, though? I understand the mindset of Fnatic, right? Because you're going into Orlando. When you play that game, guess what? You're locked in with that player, right? You have no other choice. That's what happened with Space Station Gaming. Pelu couldn't make it to Orlando, and because he couldn't make it there, he couldn't compete at Worlds. So I would think that you know, I understand the logic. You had Arctic and Suppress who had worked together. They know each other's tendencies and they trust one another. But boy, oh boy, man, has Collect had a season, and he's going to just continue to be a superstar in Halo Infinite, I have no doubt.
22-0-1 in favor of Oxygen Esports, and now Fnatic have an opportunity to answer back. They're trying to rotate this ball over toward the C side, the more powerful side of the map. A long rotation having to be made for Oxygen, but they're seeing two members trying to find an entry point. The pings are coming in, just 0 spots up. Arctic takes down one. The second one going to fall, so Oxygen taking their time to push up, but eventually they go down, and Fnatic get themselves some decent ball time.
I love this play. They drop the ball and prioritize the overshield, and Jazero ends up getting OS, and the push is going to start to come from Nest. So even though the ball was down for a little while, they knew that no one from Oxygen was going to be around to take it away from them so that they could focus and put every single player on obtaining that overshield. But doesn't work out for them here, as you got no more OS for Jazero. He does manage to pick off one player, and he hasn't been quite hit here. So this is a big 1v1, and he sends him packing. And that is going to be another ball grab here for Suppressed and company as they're rotating this one over to Nest. Nemesis trying his best to stop this at the cutoff, but here comes Septify to receive him top mid, and that reticule just went wild there. You hate to see it.
Big kill by Septify thanks to the little bit of shaky shots coming out of Nemesis. He ends up going down. Switch gears towards Jazero just in time for nades to get rained on. It's the rainy city, Seattle, and Fnatic getting rained on themselves. 3 down for them. Oxygen Esports now having valuable opportunity here to clear out this A side and rotate this ball right back into the setup of their own.
You know what's interesting though? Even though I praise them for that play, dropping the ball, going for the overshield, they really didn't gain much from that, right? Only a few points, and then Oxygen Esports now have this ball and add on to the lead. So yes, I like the decision making from Fnatic, but when you have those advantages, you have those openings, you have to play to that advantage as much as you possibly can. And that honestly is going to be a credit to Oxygen for putting Fnatic in this position to begin with and adding more to their scoreline.
The game plan was there, but the execution was not. Luckily, Fnatic were able to slay out and get their ball in the hands once again. Seaside setup now being controlled once again by Fnatic. Nemesis trying to slide it toward the pillar side, but Bohm will catch him. Also catch these hands. These shots are starting to ring out. Bohm gonna try to stay alive. Nemesis trusts his teammate to finish that off. Gets himself a little bit of assist there. Bohm takes down 2. And now Oxygen Esports right back in control and Collect with the overshield.
He gets the overshield, which keeps it away from Fnatic. At this point, any of the resources you could take from the map, even if you don't get to use all that much and benefit from that OS, to just keep it away from Fnatic as you guys are trying to build points here is going to be a big success. And I also enjoy the fact that Collect's going here around the flank. If he would have stayed there just a second longer, he would have ended up cutting off a player on green, so he has to play this one out low here. So that is a play ball, and the rest of Fnatic have no idea where Collect is currently. Oh, I guess they found him. I was gonna say they had no idea Collect was gonna be in that area, but that just goes to show you, man, that Fnatic, they're always keeping their head on a swivel.
Fnatic always do such a good job of playing through their slays before prioritizing the objective. They didn't want to go in too early. They didn't want to get caught making mistakes. But right now, we need a little bit more objective efficiency out of them. These slays have been good. They've had moments where they've put Oxygen Esports 3 down, if not 4 down, multiple times, but the scoreboard hasn't reflected it just yet.
No.
Now a minute 34 seconds on the clock. Eventually, Fnatic are going to be put between the scoreboard and the time clock.
We're always harping on effective, objective efficiency. Being able to grab the ball, hold it, and take advantage of those opportunities that you create for yourself. Oxygen Esports are doing that so well. And look at Fnatic completely on the other side of the map. And who's creating that space? It's Collect. Collect's all up in the business of Fnatic, and now they're just going to be only a few points away from being able to win this first round, Oxygen.
Big play by Trite. He wasn't within arm's length of being able to throw that ball off, so he chucks it and then reposts the ball right over the head of Fnatic. Eventually, Oxygen Esports do end up going 4 down, but it's plays like that maybe the difference maker here. Arctic once again onto the C side of the map. holding onto the ball time. Gonna have to drop that ball to try to put pressure on the overshield, but nobody in Fnatic in position to steal it away. Looks like Nemesis might have been able to do so. Boom, absolutely shredding Arctic right there, icing him out. Triton steals the ball, and maybe for the last time, 15 seconds left for round 1.
They freaking deserved that there. What a play. There was so much that I could talk about in that particular moment, but the only thing that mattered is the fact that when you value your life, you get the value back. 4 points remaining here, and that is going to be a capture. That is going to be a point, excuse me, for Oxygen Esports, unless Fnatic have something to say about it, but you're dealing with a real flimsy type situation here. The ball's going to get sent forward. He's actually going to get shut down, and at 99 points, Fnatic are trying to bring this one back, but they have to play perfect Halo if they want to win this point.
Just one more second needed by Oxygen Esports. 7-5 pushing up, can't quite find the kill. A trade is in, and that's not what they were looking
Big
for.
win from Arctic here.
Trying one more kill away from stealing that ball away.
He tried to grab the ball, didn't work out for him. But here's the thing, you only have 30 seconds remaining. Now Jazero's gonna try and bring this ball around on the outside. You see where the spawns are gonna be happening, over toward Ness. He makes the tag as well. Jazero with a good call, and he's gonna continue to linger around here in the garage. But the problem is, yet again, it's only gonna be 1 point, and he has no help. He has no choice. Oh no, he misses the melee, and that's gonna be the point there for Oxygen.
How was he able just to fly in towards the A-side window and nobody had any idea? Jazero was holding the ball. He had no clue that someone was coming over toward the sandbag side, able to steal the kill, steal the ball, and steal round number 1.
That's a little frustrating though, honestly, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, like Oxygen still had that one and could have easily had won it because they only needed to grab 1 point. But where was the help for Jazero in that situation? Why was he by himself? I know that the rest of the players from Fnatic were trying to just get in the face, but at that moment you have to prioritize the objective and try to play around it. Give yourself that opening, maybe send one of those players, but hey, you can't cry over spilt milk right now. Fnatic need to pick themselves up and go at it again here because Oxygen are not looking back.
Big slays out of Bowman, trying to defend over that overshield, but I believe it wasn't popped. I'm not sure if it was a member of them. No, it was a member of Fnatic. It's gonna be Jazero starting off that push, taking down 1. There's a player over toward the tower side. He's aware of them. The repulse not
Thank you, Rail.
enough to take down Jazero. He's too heavy. As Fnatic now get first hands on his ball time once again, but an early lead in favor of Oxygen Esports.
That Rail saved Jazero and has actually led to them being able to get the sniper as well as the ball. But Boehm does take out Septify, and I kind of want to see Jazero drop this ball here, which is exactly what he's going to go and do. Smart play to back away. Oh no! Nemesis with a massive double kill is going to help them out in the backfield. But Septify needs to cut this one off. Who's going to be there to help out Triton? As the nades are going to have to force Septify away. There is going to be a player from Fnatic located over toward the tower, but they're going to be dropping this one back over toward Tram. Issue is they are going to get flanked here.
Multiple members of Fnatic breaking towards the A side. It was a 1v2 situation, not the equation that Oxygen Esports were looking for. Now we're on board with Nemesis. Getting the flank off onto Jazero. Finds himself 1 kill, but doesn't have the numbers. They're 3 down. Archie, you get the kill. Hold on. Doesn't care. Oxygen Esports are 3 down, but Nemesis is still slaying.
Nemesis looking to pick up a lot of this garbage time here. And they actually shoots out that player over to the loving hands of his teammate. So Septify and Triton end up picking up the kill. Suppress having to back away as he looks to get inside of the tunnel. Jazero with a massive double kill and Suppressed around the flank there. That grenade could help out just a touch, but he has to deal with one more player from Oxygen. That's Boehm. Fnatic though with the ball, and look at that cutoff by Septify. Great call to just keep themselves in this one and continue to add on.
Septify and Fnatic watching every choke point on the map here, and now we're gonna see Fnatic start to take the lead. Triton and Boehm being as patient as possible.
They didn't see anyone.
They were gonna push the A side, but it looks like Fnatic were able to rotate that
Oh,
ball
what a
all
big
the way to
play.
the overshield side of the map and all the way onto the C side. A big rotation by Fnatic, but now they find themselves 3 down. Oxygen Esports still find the slays despite the rotating players. Fnatic get wiped, but they don't play the ball.
That's nuts, man. They didn't get a chance to play the ball. Arctic thought he had him on the flank, and he ends up getting hit with a brute nade and blown up with spikes in his belly. That hurts. And now Oxygen Oxygen are at the 50-point mark here and continuing to add on. Fnatic, though, need to find an answer. Septify is waiting for a player to drop his Arctic, trying to force the situation. Ball's going to get played. Tower control there, and I thought we just saw a sniper, but it ain't going to matter because Triton's there on the pickup, gets the kill. Collect also picked up a snipe on Arctic there, and I think Oxygen are dragging out with the best of them at this point in time.
The double push out of Arctic, and Septify did force the ball reset, but Triton once again able to steal that ball away. And all of this time, I'm going to call it garbage time. It's time that Oxygen Esports should not have. Fnatic are 4 up. How are Oxygen able to get so much scrappy time here? Triton does end up going down, so 3 members down for Oxygen. They chuck that ball towards the mid-map, bit of a pseudo play. Collect able to get away with the sniper rifle, now distracting Fnatic, but I believe they were still able to get away with the overshield.
With that overshield and those 2 kills, they might be able to get this lead, but they have to remove Nemesis here. They need to kill him, but he gets the green gun. Not enough, though, to actually kill Jazero, but he won't have the comfort of the overshield. Jazero's going to try and get away from this one. He does so successfully, but he's getting pressured by a few members of Oxygen Esports. Here comes Boehm, and Boehm's been amazing, and a trade in the backfield is going to give Fnatic's Arctic no room to really breathe. He's going to have to send this one back over to the garage with his teammate.
Back and forth we go as Fnatic able to steal away the lead here, but for how long? The first player falls for Fnatic, save for Oxygen Esports. Another battle ensues, and that's an important one because Suppressed just gave Oxygen the numbers they were looking for. A quick ball grab out of Collect.
Why didn't the ball make its way inside of the garage? It was right outside. They were right there. That is going to hurt them so much, and they need to take out Oxygen right now. This is the moment where you find out what Fnatic is made of, because you got 15 points remaining, and Collect could very well end it here.
Fnatic, you need to stop him from grabbing that ball. That ball ends up getting played, but just 10 more seconds needed. Oxygen 1 round away from not only taking the game, but also taking the series. Oxygen find themselves 3 down. Fnatic know what's on the line. They're pretty close here, but they need to play near perfect Halo. We say that cliche time and time again, but it's what's needed right here.
They got to start locating where these members of Oxygen are. They see where 2 of them are going to be located over toward the green side, but losing Suppress, losing those numbers is going to hurt. You haven't quite been able to tie the game up, but you had no other choice but to play the ball, and you're going to continue to trade kills. 3 players down now for Fnatic. The ball not yet in the hands of Oxygen because you have a few members of Oxygen that are going to be a little weakened. Here comes around the corner. Here he comes. Triton ends up getting 1 kill, but he's looking for another one. The green gun is not going to be good enough. The double kill's there for Triton. Ball's going to be available to him here, and it's getting scrappy, but Triton gets the triple kill, and he's going to put the final nail in the coffin for Fnatic as Oxygen Esports, against all odds, have managed to secure themselves top 6 here at the Halo World Championship.
Calling it 7:09 p.m. Pacific time. Fnatic are done. Oxygen move forward. Big plays being made by Oxygen Esports to come out with the 3-1 win over Fnatic, and now I believe they play the winner between United and Cloud9.
Anything can happen at Worlds, but what a freaking game we were just treated to. It's an unfortunate run for Fnatic, but they have to be pleased with themselves coming out of open bracket, then the play-ins, and then getting top 8 at the World Championship. A team that has had one crazy season. It was not the way that they wanted to go, but you still have to be proud of the achievements that you've managed to make happen for yourselves here. But for right now, though, enough about Fnatic. The day belongs to Oxygen. They now move forward. They can relax, they can get some food, get some rest, because they know that there's more work to be done, Tony.
Oxygen Esports, the new underdogs right now. You know, it was before it was G1. That was the wild card. That was the ultimate underdogs. As of right now, it seems to be Oxygen Esports. They made it further than G1, they made it further than G2, and now they've made it further than Fnatic due to just great Halo, great pacing, and the ability to stay objective, efficient.
Yeah.
Even against a team as skilled as Fnatic.
And think about Collect. What an achievement for him. A young player, you know, you're told you're at the World Championship. You don't quite have the experience. We don't know if we can really rely on you, but you know who was able to rely on him? Oxygen. And now they're in this position, Tony. This is an amazing moment for him, an amazing moment for that org, as I'm very familiar with the Oxygen Esports org. You know, they got the Boston Breach team. They're very involved in esports. They've been doing some big things lately, and I couldn't be happier for them. They took down a legendary organization in Fnatic, and you have to put respect on those 4 players' names.